Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have your doubts, not what I'm about, have your fucking clout, it be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now.
Dying Light 2 Stay Human is a 2022 action role-playing game developed and published by the Polish studio Techland. The sequel to Dying Light 2015, the game was released on February 4, 2022 for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. A Nintendo Switch version for the cloud is currently in development. Dying Light 2 Stay Human is an action role-playing survival horror video game featuring a zombie apocalyptic-themed open world. Set 22 years after Dying Light, it stars a new protagonist named Aiden Caldwell, voiced by Jonah Scott, who is equipped with various parkour skills. Players can perform actions such as climbing ledges, sliding, leaping off from edges, and wall running to quickly navigate the city. It was confirmed that there are over 3,000 parkour animations to give a more fluid free-running experience. Tools such as a grappling hook and a paraglider also aid traversal in the city. Aiden can also use the undead to break his fall. The game is mostly melee-based, with the majority of fighting using melee weapons. The melee weapons have a limited lifespan and will degrade as the player uses them in combat. Long-range weapons such as crossbows, shotguns, and spears can be used as well. Weapons can be upgraded with different blueprints and components which can be found by breaking down weapons for craft parts. Aiden can also utilize superhuman skills due to the infection. New zombies have been added. Like the first game, the zombies are slow when exposed to sunlight, but they become more aggressive and hostile at night. The game is set in the city of Builder, a massive urban open world set in Europe that players can explore freely. The map, which is 4 times bigger than the original game, is broken into 7 distinct regions and each has its own landmarks and locations. When exploring the city, players can scavenge different scraps and resources for crafting new items and weapons. In the game, players meet different factions and settlements and have to make different decisions that would fundamentally change the state of the game's world and how non-playable characters view Aiden. The consequences are far-reaching, with the player being able to bring prosperity to a faction while completely destroying another settlement. Making certain decisions will open up or seal off areas in the city, encouraging players to complete multiple playthroughs. Like its predecessor, the game features 4-player cooperative multiplayer. The zombie outbreak in Heron ended with the death of all of the city's citizens, with no reported survivors. However, the global relief effort, GRE, is able to develop a vaccine for the Heron virus THV, ending the threat of the zombie pandemic. Unfortunately, despite promises to cease all research on THV, the GRE continued experimenting on the virus in secret. In 2021, a mutated variant of THV escapes a GRE lab and starts a second pandemic that spreads even faster than the first, quickly sweeping across the entire world in an event called The Fall. The vaccine and antizin are ineffective against the new strain of THV, but its effects can be suppressed with ultraviolet light. 15 years after the fall, human civilization has been reduced to a handful of scattered human settlements, with the walled European city of Builder being the last known remaining city on Earth. Originally quarantined by the GRE, Builder was spared the worst of the pandemic thanks to its quarantine walls also keeping the hordes of infected out of the city. However, control of the city is split between several factions, including the militaristic peacekeepers, the independent survivors of the bazaar, and the violent renegades. The main protagonist Aiden Caldwell is a pilgrim, an individual brave enough to travel between human settlements. He decides to make the journey to Builder in order to search for his lost sister, Mia.